The self is only reflected in others. Our sense of self is not without a frame of reference. Lacan himself believed the only thing he ever invented was the object petit a, apart from the triad of the imaginary, the symbolic, and the real. Much like the Freud's ego, superego, and id model that is proposed by Lacan as a structure of the human psyche. He articulates the object petit a with the term agalma, which he extracts from Plato's Symposium. As agalma is a precious object hidden inside a relatively worthless box, the object petit a is the object of desire which the subjects seek in the other. The object petit a is synonymous with the object cause of desire, also referred as the lost object. Lacan, in his essay on the mirror stage, argues that the formation of ego for an infant is experienced in a mirror. The uncoordinated body of a child is appropriated in its self-reflection. The mirroring experience emerges as the illusion of completion, a whole, an ideal of the body over which the child has a mastery. The image restores a lack in reality. Our self-image is a reflected instance of an imaginary other, an ideal ego. Ideal ego is someone we seek to identify with and resemble persistently, attempting to mirror an unattainable image of the other. The ego formation, mediated by visual imagery, is thus an imaginary function. We are born in socio-cultural constructs. We no longer envision our lives in nature to live by instincts. With reflections of self in the mirror and internalized mirror of parental love, primarily the mother, a dyadic imaginary relationship is formed. Imaginary is merely a projected image. The foremost caretakers, the mother or parents, crystallize the subject's unified image. The dyadic imaginary love relationship is broken by a symbolic parental signifier, which completes the triad of psychic reality. Symbolic is commencement into culture from the imaginary order of nature. We leave the comforts of our home to create a name for ourselves and be socially recognized, like symbols or signifiers that do not have any inert meaning. Symbolic is synonymous with the man made social order and law. The symbolic acts as a yardstick against which we mark our social recognition. The symbolic authority, like our father, teachers, and leaders, are merely positions in the symbolic order. We enter the symbolic order conformed within the lines and boundaries of law, culture, and religion. We live our lives in the man made changing styles of appropriate social space, architecture, and order. Structuredness is the symbolic other. Desire concerns with not what we see, but what we do not see. What is hidden in the figure of authority, the mask behind the veil. Desire seeks to transcend the social order out of which it emerges. Our unconscious fantasies revolve around the object petit a. This object cause of desire, both the lost object and cause of desire. It is the object that causes our desires as long as it is lost. The satisfaction is not in the ultimate attainment of some final goal, but in the unending process of seeking itself, encircling the lost object. The self is trapped in the other with the paradoxical Lacanian object cause of desire at the core. The secret supposed to be hidden in the other. What relationship do we have with our life history? The drive locates enjoyment in the movement of return itself, in its repetition of the loss, rather than in what might be recovered. The pleasure is in the failure to recapture that nostalgia of the relationship with our immediate environment, predominantly the imaginary dyadic relation with our parents or mother and nature. The primal lost object stems in the imaginary domain. Desiring subject seeks the key to its lack in the field of the other, only to find the other is not really hiding anything. It can only be retroactively looked at, but never embodied. The path of desire misses the object. The subject moves around it. The absence of an object sustains desire. Desire, with time, is wrapped up in its phantasmatic presence in our unconscious fantasy. The object petit a is the primal lost object that causes the subject's desire, with its secret hidden in the other. Beyond the pretense of veiled meaning, the way to self discovery is to find out that there is nothing hidden in the other, that the other is also lacking. The Lacanian concept of the real is the corporeal being lost in the imaginary and the symbolic order that only comes to being retrospectively. It is the immaterial need which cannot be expressed in language. The primordial body of basic needs is lost in the structuredness with entrance into social order. Its traces are still left behind, which are forever severed. The real continues to exert its influence throughout our lives, since it is the primal lost object encircling which all our fantasies are shaped.